The real man smiles in trouble, gathers strength from distress, and grows brave by reflection. I love the man that can smile in trouble, that can gather strength from distress, and grow brave by reflection. What we obtain to cheap, we esteem too lightly. A share into revolutions is living to some purpose. It is error only and not truth that shrinks from inquiry. An avidity to punish is always dangerous to liberty. It leads men to stretch, to misinterpret, and to misapply even the best of laws. The greatest remedy for anger is delay. Character is much easier kept than recovered. The duty of a true patriot is to protect his country from its government. It is error only and not truth that shrinks from inquiry. We can only reason from what is. We can reason on actualities, but not on possibilities. The greatest efforts of the human mind are positive advances. Time makes more converts than reason. Virtues are acquired through endeavor, which rests wholly on yourself. It is the living and not the dead that are to be accommodated. When we are planning for posterity, we ought to remember that virtue is not hereditary. To argue with a man who has renounced the use and authority of reason is like administering medicine to the dead. Government, in my humble opinion, should be formed to secure and to enlarge the exercise of the natural rights of its members, and every government which has not this in view its principal object is not a government of the legitimate kind. The most formidable weapon against errors of every kind is reason. Character is much easier kept than recovered. The greatest remedy for anger is delay. He that would make his own liberty secure must guard even his enemy from opposition. The cause of America is in a great measure the cause of all mankind. When we are planning for posterity, we ought to remember that virtue is not hereditary. Those who expect to reap the blessings of freedom must, like men, undergo the fatigue of supporting it. Society is produced by our wants and government, by our wickedness. We fight not to enslave, but to set our country free, and to make room upon the earth for honest men to live in. The strength and power of despotism consists wholly in the fear of resistance. The most formidable weapon against errors of every kind is reason. The mind once enlightened cannot again become dark. It is not in numbers, but in unity, that our great strength lies. Man is not the enemy of man, but through the medium of a false system of government. What we obtain to cheap, we esteem too lightly. To say that any people are not fit for freedom is to make poverty their choice. Reason and ignorance, the opposites of each other, influence the great bulk of mankind. A thing moderately good is not so good as it ought to be. Moderation in temper is always a virtue, but moderation in principle is always a vice. Every science has for its basis a system of principles as fixed and unalterable as those by which the universe is regulated and governed. It is error only and not truth that shrinks from inquiry. These are the times that try men's souls. The harder the conflict, the more glorious the triumph. Government, even in its best state, is but a necessary evil, in its worst state an intolerable one. It is from our enemies that we often gain excellent maxims and valuable truths. The world is my country, all mankind are my brethren, and to do good is my religion. Reason obeys itself, and ignorance submits to whatever is dictated to it. We have it in our power to begin the world over again. Tyranny, like hell, is not easily conquered. Yet we have this consolation with us, that the harder the conflict, the more glorious the triumph. The mind once enlightened cannot again become dark. These are the times that try men's souls. If there must be trouble, let it be in my day, that my child may have peace. One good schoolmaster is of more use than 100 priests. To argue with a man who has renounced the use and authority of reason, and whose philosophy consists in holding humanity in contempt, is like administering medicine to the dead, or endeavoring to convert an atheist by Scripture. Whatever is my right as a man is also the right of another, and it becomes my duty to guarantee as well as to possess. The harder the conflict, the more glorious the triumph. What we obtain to cheap, we esteem too lightly, it is dearness, only that gives everything its value. I love the man that can smile in trouble, that can gather strength from distress and grow. If I do not believe as you believe, it proves that you do not believe as I believe, and that is all that it proves. Let them call me a rebel and welcome. I feel no concern from it, but should I suffer the misery of devils, were I to make a whore of my soul? Taxes are not raised to carry on wars, but that wars are raised to carry on taxes.